Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Walton. We came into a gym, and I'm not sure if people are surprised because it's Bill Walton or this tall dude came into a practice. Which one was
Rick,
it?
I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I walked into my first gym when I was 8 years old, and I have never left. I can't play anymore. 38 operations. Both my ankles are fused from the knee down. It's all one bone, can't feel a thing. Got a new knee, finally. And then I have a new spine as well. But my hands and wrists don't work, but I'm alive, and I am the luckiest guy in the world. I'm still in the gym, and today we got to walk in and see the future, displaying, exhibiting, creating the power of sport.
Wow, there you go. I have a feeling this is going to free flow a little bit. We'll forget this for a minute. Let's talk about your body. 38 surgeries?
I'm doing great today. I was born with structural congenital birth defects in my feet, and I ground them into dust. But I just kept going and did everything I could to sustain. But then finally on February 24th, 2008.
Not that you remember the date.
Not that I remember the date, but I could no longer move. I could no longer function, and I spent the next 4.5 years on the ground in the hospital. I had a pioneering experimental surgery on February 9th, 2009. Toughest thing that I've ever gone through in my life, but I'm all better, Rick. I have no pain, I take no medication, I go full speed ahead. I've never been busier, I've never been happier, and I haven't been this healthy since I was 13 years old.
What were the 4.5 years like when you couldn't get off the floor?
I wanted to kill myself because I could no longer function, and I could only describe the pain as being submerged into a vat of scalding acid that had an electrifying current running through it. Nerve pain is a completely different challenge, and there's nothing that works on nerve pain, and it never goes away, and it drives you to a deep, dark place where you can't think, you can't dream, there's no hope, you can't function, you can't eat, you can't sleep, you can't move, and that was me. So of all the people that I mentor with their health challenges, the first step is always to get out of the pain, and that for me required surgery.
To finish about Better Way Back, because the whole idea of turning your pain into something positive for others.
I try to live a life based on that things work out best for those that make the best out of the way things work out.
Right.
I try to live a life in service of the needs of others. I try to live a life of searching for possible opportunities to move the group forward. The nicest thing, Rick, that anybody ever said about me as a basketball player was that I helped make my teammates play better.
Yeah.
I was inspired in my life by Bill Russell, who was my favorite player ever on and off the court. I learned from Bill that he spends his entire time trying to make a positive contribution in everything that he does to try to enable other people's dreams to come true. Bill Russell, my hero. Imagine as a child, because my parents had zero interest in sports, still to this very day, no interest. I never shot a basket with my dad and saw him run one time at the church picnic and fell over laughing. My mom was our town's librarian. Sports is not their thing. But I had incredible world and culture that I grew up in that was fostered in sports by my first coach, Rocky, who was our town's fireman. He was a volunteer for 59 years at the same elementary school. Then Chick Hearn, greatest broadcaster ever. I found Chick on the radio when I was 9 years old. And then in the culture that I grew up and lived in the 50s and the 60s in San Diego, California, every coach, every teacher that I had was a disciple of John Wooden.
Let's talk about Wooden in the 60s, though, because before we go to the next thing, the country was torn apart almost as much as it is today. Wooden, among everything else, to an outsider, proves that two men can love each other even though they have different political and life philosophies.
I did not understand, Rick, anything that Coach Wooden was talking about. Yeah. I didn't realize what I had missed. I didn't realize the errors of my way until I left UCLA. And then I got out there and I was like, whoa, things are different here.
But John Wooden did a great job of preparing you for life after college. You just didn't know it.
I didn't. I was totally unaware.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a basketball player. And it was the safest and easiest thing for me. And it was also a shield. I was a good enough player. that I didn't have to do anything else. And the friendships that you make through sports, you know, the value of sports in our lives. When I'm always sick, Rick. I'm always sick of something or somebody, but I have learned over the course of being sick my whole life, and spending half my life in the hospital, spending all my life in chronic pain, I know what my medicine is. And you know, for me, my medicine is participation in a team concept with the guys in physical activity. The enablement, the empowerment, the joy, the celebration, the happiness that comes with doing that. I grew up through basketball with a life of hope, opportunity, and purpose. That transitioned over now 67 years to include pride, loyalty, and gratitude. And I am most appreciative of all the sacrifice of Bill Russell and Muhammad Ali and Spencer Haywood and Wilt Chamberlain and all the guys, John Wooden, and to get to meet all these guys. The beauty of sport is that it teaches you everything about life, and it's decided right out in front of you. And what our 4 children, our 9 grandchildren are doing, there's nothing like the pride of a dad, nothing like the pride of a grandfather.
I'll tell you why I'm proud. I'm proud to have spent the last hour with him. Thank you, my friend. Great to call you a friend.
Here we go, the power of sport.